So I am here with my friend, with the one and only Jhana Li from Spyglass Ops. Um, if you watch this and you don't know Jhana, first of all, she has been in the online business scene or world for some years now, and she has helped tons of agency owners, tons of online businesses, me being one of them, and a lot of my peers, get their shit together when it comes to
More or
operations
less.
and when it comes to scaling and when it comes to all the things, like in my opinion, like all the things that, there's this, I don't know, like if there's a revenue marker, but there's a time when you go from being kind of like a freelance individual operation to like a real business. And then you have like grown up problems that you didn't kind of expect. And that's what happened to me when I was first building my business. And I was like, I was grateful for it, but I was like, okay, this is like uncharted territory. And I know a lot of business owners in general, especially online, deal with this. And what's crazy is that you don't just deal with it once. It's not when like from like infancy to, okay, I'm at this revenue, like you deal with it at multiple stages where you're leveling up your business essentially. So I got Jhana, we get to talk, and I'm happy to have a conversation with you as always.
I'm so excited. I have no idea what we're even going to talk about, but I just know it's going to be excellent.
Yeah, this is what we always do. We don't plan anything. We just chat and it ends up being great. But I actually want to pick up right where I cut you off, because I think this is a like powerful thing. And it's also something that business owners don't always think about, or any entrepreneur that launches a business. I think that we get, especially when you're starting, we get wrapped up in, I got to get this has to survive. It has to make money. I need to sell. I need to keep my clients happy. And so the thought of like, what kind of business do I want to create? How do I want this to complement or mingle with my lifestyle? Like that just gets thrown out the window. And sometimes it's out of necessity because it's like you're in survival mode.
Yeah.
But I was telling you, with my new business, I'm thinking about that a lot more because I already built one and exited that business. But you seem to have always been conscious around that, or aware of it, or intentional about that. So give me your philosophy. Like, how do you build your business, still make money, still be successful, but do it the way you want, and so you get to live the life that you want?
Yeah. So I think I got very lucky, which is that before I ever ran my business, I was an operations coach and I got to work with all of these seven-figure business owners. So I got to almost like peer into the crystal ball, right? And see into my future as an entrepreneur and how different modes and philosophies of entrepreneurship play out. And what I saw the most of is what I would call like, like the hustlepreneur, and where that movie ends, right? And I think what you just said, right? When we're all starting, sometimes it's just a matter of survival. And so we're always operating from this place of like, just outwork the problem, just figure it out. What you said, I will sit at my desk until all the work is done and I have done absolutely everything I can in this business. And that's incredible when it comes to starting a company. But when you fast forward that movie and your business is now bigger, what we accidentally create is a business that is dependent on us sitting at our desk for longer and longer hours to get all the work done. Because when you treat yourself as this like infinite resource of work ethic, then your business comes to rely on that resource. There's actually no way to continue to grow it without you just working harder. And at some point, you just hit your limit, right? Maybe that's 100K. I've seen 500K. I've seen an entrepreneur that got that to 800K a month. But you do hit the limit. And what you end up with is a business that you hate, a business that traps you at your desk for 14 hours a day, a business that's reliant on you for absolutely everything. So I got to see this play out in the lives of the clients I was coaching and working with. So when it came to start my own business, I was like, yeah, I'm not going to do that. And what's beautiful about putting that constraint on yourself, right, is that when you put yourself within the box of how do I not work harder but smarter, what you unlock is like a forcing agent that forces you to work smarter. Like you have to figure out a smarter way to do things, a more scalable way to do things, a more leveraged way to do things. So I think actually, I always joke that I have a pretty low pain threshold. Like I will not sit at my desk for 14 hours grinding on shit that I don't like and that I won't care and that I don't care about. But what that forces me to do is figure out a different way to make sure that the work gets done. It just gets done without a dependency on me. And so I've built a more scalable business from the beginning by forcing myself to learn how to scale faster.
So I know that these two things don't go hand in hand, and it took me a long time to break this belief. I know that grind doesn't, it doesn't mean more money, right? Necessarily, because there are people who work far less. They don't work even nearly as hard as me, but they have more money and bigger businesses to me. That was like, duh, right? But that aside, if trading money and scale and building a bigger business means having more pain in a business that you like less, is that just simply not something you're willing to trade? Like, will you take a less successful business with less money to live the life that you want and have the business operate like you want?
I will, right? I personally will, but I wouldn't force that on anybody else, right? For me, my lifestyle, my freedom, it's the most important thing to me. So I am willing, I don't think I'm sacrificing business success, but sometimes I think I sacrifice business speed, right? Like, would my company grow faster if I was putting in 14-hour days? Probably. Am I willing to let it grow a little bit slower if it means that I enjoy my business more and I enjoy the process of getting there? Yeah, I'll do that all day, because to me, it's infinite game, right? It's how much do I enjoy playing the game, not how quickly can I quote unquote win the game. To me, enjoying the game is winning the game. So I will always optimize for that. Now, that might not be true for other people. That's totally fine. But what I would challenge is the underlying assumption, right? That my business success is directly equal to how hard I'm willing to work. I disagree. Your business success is directly equal to how much you can leverage yourself. So I have a friend who does nearly $1 million a year as a solopreneur. She works about 20, 25 hours a week.
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
the world where that's possible,
Yeah.
you can't tell me that me not working hard is going to create a less successful business, because I can point to examples like that and say, actually, I think there is a way.
Yeah. And
And you
there's,
have to push yourself to be smart enough and leveraged enough to figure it out.
yeah, and there's a million examples. There's examples of people that have 100 employees
Yeah.
that work 10 hours a week that are
Yep.
still making tons of money and still scaling and still
Yep.
growing.
Totally.
And it's funny, I had the opportunity to have conversations with three very successful entrepreneurs. They all do well over 50 million annually in their businesses or their portfolios.
Mhm.
They're all over 50 years old. Two of them are over 60 years old. One of them is, I think, 56 or 57.
Mhm.
Um, I asked all three of them the same question, and it was a self-serving question because I'm building another business. It was the same thing I just asked you. Would you trade if
Mhm.
it was like this, even though it's not like this? Would you trade money and a bigger business for a business that you love that complemented your life, gave you more freedom? And guess what all three of them said?
Yes.
100% without a doubt, right?
Yes.
And they have time behind them, and like someone could argue, well, like they already have money now, but like all of them said they would give money back to have some of their time back in the past.
Yeah.
And that for me was like a kind of like a oh shit moment, because I was like, I was telling myself, okay, just like another 10, 15 years of just like going all out and then chill. And I was like, but obviously I'm going to 10, 15 years, I'm going to look back and go, I should have enjoyed my life then more. Like I'm older now, you
Yep.
know? So, do you find when you work with people, so this same concept, when you work with them, they get it. They're self-aware, but because the grind and pushing has actually worked and rewarded them, their
Yes.
beliefs are like stuck on that. Where it's
Yes.
like, I know what you're saying. I get it. I need to pull back. I need to delegate. I need to trust people more. I need to not rely on myself, even for like increasing the enterprise value. But when push comes to shove, they go right back to their habits and they just
Yes.
like, yeah. So you can give them logical, tactical things that they need to do. But what do you do when someone's like, you're telling them they're getting it, but then they just go back to their habits, which is like grind in front of the computer all day?
Totally. So this actually became such a pervasive problem for us, Gil, because what do, right? We install an operator and the right systems and the right team into a business. So what happens? All of a sudden, the company starts to run better. There's less fires, there's less chaos, there's less need to pull the founder in. All this white space starts to appear on the client's calendar. Great, that's success. That's what they told us they wanted. And then what happened? What happened is our clients started to self sabotage the shit out of themselves. They would start to jump back into their business. They would start to undermine their operator and their leadership team. They would start to create all this chaos and all these problems just so they had something to clean up. And this actually created such a problem for us, because like we were achieving the result, but then the clients would work against themselves and send themselves backwards. So we actually ended up partnering with an executive coach who comes in and works with our CEOs every other week to work on this, to start to change their mindset and the belief system, because what got you here will not get you there. We have to literally help our clients reprogram what does it mean to be successful at this stage of growth? What does it mean to be a CEO? How do I delegate and trust my team? How do I start thinking about my time differently and what I should be spending my time on? How do I justify the ROI of going for a walk for 15 minutes a day instead of just sitting in front of my computer for 14 hours straight? Because I'm actually going to come up with better ideas and make better decisions. And that's what my company needs from me now, right? So we actually have to teach our CEOs how to CEO, because the reality is like, again, when you're buried in the weeds of the business, you're spending maybe 5% of your time actually wearing the CEO hat and most of your time wearing the everything else hat. So we actually have to teach our clients how to truly step into the CEO role and let things go, because otherwise they literally won't allow themselves to.
Yeah, that is crazy and true in everything. It's
Yeah.
like I always um I don't joke, I say this is the truth. It's like the sexiness of what you do is like, hey, we will install these things, we'll make your business operate more efficiently. We
Yep.
will free up time on your calendar. But then there's always, and this applies to sales, this applies to every aspect of a business. There's this mental aspect to it where like the entire business is kind of a reflection of the person who created it and operates it. And so, yeah, I mean, again, like from a self-serving standpoint, I'm thinking about myself a lot hearing you speak, because my partner even said, I was with my partner in Vegas a couple weeks ago, and he's like, you completely shifted your philosophy around business in like the last 6 months. Like, what happened? And I
Mm,
was like, I just decided that I didn't want to be away from my family and my loved ones and my friends. And I didn't want to, like, I even had health issues with my
mm,
last business. And like,
mm.
you know a little bit about me. Like, I'm obsessed with my health and
Right.
exercise and fitness and all those things. And I still wasn't able to fight back having health issues because my body was under stress for so consistently for such a long period of time. And I was like, all that shit made me change my mind about what I want to build. Right. And yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know. And I came to the same
Feels like you're
conclusion.
not going to be less successful. Actually,
Yeah.
I think you're going to be more successful
Yeah.
for having a different set of like boundaries and a different philosophy around running your business, because it's going to, again, it's a forcing agent. It's going to force you to build your team differently, right? Start to lead and delegate sooner. Figure out more scalable ways of getting things done in the business that aren't so reliant on you, right? Like there's still stuff that you need to show up and do because you're small, but like having that mindset from the very beginning, my prediction is that you're actually going to hit your goals faster. Because what happens is like if we're so willing to just show up and outwork the problem, is that we will just always outwork the problem. And that actually becomes ironically, the word I use is lazy. Like
Yeah.
it's lazy to show up and work 14 hours a day than to force yourself how to level up as a leader or level up as an entrepreneur or get more strategic or get more leverage. That's actually harder than just doing the thing that's always worked for you, which is just like outwork the problem.
Yeah. Yeah. Or, the stereotypical founder that's like, okay, you can't do this. Let me just jump in and fix it. Right. Let me just jump in and fix it. Let me do it.
Yep.
Right. And it's because and I agree with you. It's lazy in a sense that like, you're not taking the time and energy to build the systems, train the people, show them how to do the thing, and then
Correct.
trust them, and
Correct.
then let them fall on their face, and
Yep.
then guide them and coach them and nurture them and do all the things to get that. Like you're
It's actually
taking.
way harder.
Yeah, it's way harder, right? And it actually takes a little bit more time up front, but
Yep.
then you get an ROI on that and you get time back. It's
Yep.
just like, let me go solve the problem, yeah. So I guess, well, I could
Me.
ask you more about your business. Why, and I think I've asked you this before, but maybe I haven't. Like, why this? I know you're good at it, and I know, you found a niche in something that you can help people. But like, why you worked in some large organizations where you stepped in as COO and you helped them organize their stuff and get their business together. You had obviously opportunities, but like, why did you choose to do this? And why did you choose to launch your own business rather than just like not have all the responsibility and stress of a
Yeah.
business owner?
Yeah. Go be a COO for somebody else.
Yeah.
Um, what it came down to for me was two things: autonomy and impact. There, on the hard days, because it's not like my business is perfect, right? I still have
Yeah.
hard days. I still work hard. Let's be clear about all of that.
Yeah.
And on the rough days, I look at my friends with a 9 to 5 and I'm like, God damn, some days do I just wish I could just swap it, and like go all the responsibility. And the reason I don't comes down to autonomy. I just really can't, I just can't imagine someone else telling me what to do. I just can't do it, right? Like, even if what I tell myself to do is so much harder and more than what any boss would ever ask me to do, for me having the autonomy over my own life, over my own business, over when I work, how I work, the work I choose to do, the way I choose to serve the people that I work with, like that to me is priceless. Because it allows me to build my business as a vehicle for my life, right? What you just said of like everything about my business is designed to work in harmony with who I am as a person, who I want to grow into becoming, and what I want my life as a whole to look like. And to sacrifice the autonomy over that, I'm just like not willing to do it. The second thing is impact, right? Yes, I'm good at what it is that I do. And I can't imagine any other business where I would be able to serve and impact more people in a better way than the business that I have today. Like with the skills and knowledge that I have today, this business is the most that I am able to create positive service and impact in the world. And so I've designed it that way. Again, I've built every component of it to leverage me to serve and impact others. And I wouldn't give that up, because if I'm going to spend my time building something, building anything, I want it to be something that helps other people and helps other people in the biggest way possible.
So there's this there's this time at which you're working, or you're fractional, or you have a job, and there's this leap at some point, right, that you had to make, right? Like, okay, I'm doing this, I'm doing it for myself, I believe in myself now, or maybe I don't, but I'm going to take a shot and I'm going to see what happens, right? Like that, we all kind of, that's
Yep.
like the typical story. We all have that moment, maybe in different ways, right? Do you think that, and I don't know the ratio or statistic on this, but like, what do you think men to women
Mm.
entrepreneur business owners is, if from a percentage, if you had to guess?
Oh my gosh, I have no idea. I have such a confirmation bias in this because most people I work with are men, right? So in the rooms that I'm in, it's like 1 to 10. Do I
Okay.
think that's reflective of the market? No, I don't. But
It might be. Yeah.
probably
It might be 10%. I don't
it's
know. I
probably
mean,
large majority male. Yeah.
yeah. So, okay. So we all entrepreneurs have this or most of them, right? Have this moment where they're fearful to do
Mm.
this, right? Because uncertainty, how the hell am I going to make this work?
Yep.
And ultimately all of us at some point take a leap, a big or a small one,
Yep.
and we're like, we're going to figure this shit out, right? So for women, let's just say, hypothetically speaking, you or I do not know the statistics. So women out there, don't get mad at me if I'm completely wrong on this, but let's say it's 10%, right? So now a woman that's working a job that feels things that you felt inclined to take a leap and do this, not only does that person have to deal with all the same doubt and uncertainty that men and you and me and all of us have dealt with, but now they have to maybe look again, if they're aware of the market, they have to look and go, there's also only 1 in 10 women that
Mm.
maybe do this, right? Like, give them a message. Like, it obviously has, based on what you just said, it sounds like you feel like you made the best decision for your life, regardless of all the challenges and how hard it's been and the struggles that you've been through. Like, even though you make businesses operate smooth, like,
So
it
hard.
still doesn't mean it's easy, right? So, like,
Totally.
or here's a better way to ask this question.
Yep.
What would you say to Jhana 5 years ago or 4 years ago, or however long it's been when you started Spyglass or before that,
Mm.
like
Yeah.
to get her to take the leap?
Yeah. To be honest, I think I would give the same exact message to anyone, men or women, right? If you're at that starting point and you're looking at making the leap, to me, the question is, what is the risk you're willing to accept? And why would you choose to accept that risk? That's all it comes down to. Entrepreneurship is nothing more and nothing less than a huge freaking risk. You let go of the security of a 9 to 5 job and health benefits and dental, and you take a stab at something where there's a huge amount of unknown risk, uncertainty, and yes, upside potential, because high risk equals high reward. And so to me, the question is, if somebody's thinking about being an entrepreneur, it's like, well, what's the risk you're willing to accept? Are you willing to accept the risk that this does not work? And you need to be willing to accept that if you're going to be an entrepreneur, because what's the statistic? 97% of businesses don't work, right? So are you willing to take the bet knowing that in all likelihood, this will not work? The answer to that question has to be yes, because in all likelihood, it will not work. And so, what's the upside? The upside is, yeah, maybe it does work and I get paid a lot of money. But to me, the upside I always look at is like, who's the version of you that you're going to become when you take this jump? And is that something that's important enough to you to make the jump for, right? Don't make the jump for money. Dear God, don't make the jump for money. Like, there are so many easier and safer ways to make a shitload of money. Go do one of those things. Do it because you can't not. Do it because there's a version of you that will only get built when you are that level of self-sufficient, when you put it all on yourself to build the thing that only you can build, right? That's a reason to be an entrepreneur. And I don't care if you're a woman, female, like female, male, somewhere in the middle, I don't care, right? It's about who are you becoming, and is entrepreneurship the vehicle that's going to get you there? What would I say to the women in the group? Guys, come on in. It's 1 to 10 out there. It's so easy. Like, do you know what happens when I walk into a room full of 9 guys to every 1 woman? It's a huge competitive advantage. I'm speaking in Colombia in 3 weeks. I think it's 10 guys and me. Do you think who is going to stand out the most on that stage? Especially if I'm good at what I do and I know what the fuck I'm talking about. Like, utilize the competitive advantages where they exist. If you're intelligent, be intelligent. If you're beautiful, be beautiful. If you're fit, be fit. And if you're a woman in a room full of men, use it, because it's there and you can treat it as a disadvantage or you can treat it as an advantage. And so I'd rather do the former.
That's dope. That is really dope that you say that you realize that you're aware of that, and that you embrace it. Because like, there's a lot of people that would be like, or there's a lot of women that would just be like, I just want to like go in there and be looked at as an equal and get my fair, rather than being like, look, like, if I am competent and I'm good at what I do, and there's 9 of them and there's 1 of me, like, I have the ability to stand out. That's very true. And even if it wasn't, like, the fact that you look at it like that makes it an advantage to you. It doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter if there's thousands of people in the audience that aren't even thinking of that. The fact that is your mindset makes it an advantage, you know?
And is there like a bunch of bullshit that I have to put up with as a result? Yeah,
Of
for
course.
sure. You know, people like tell me I have nice legs while I'm on stage. Shut up. But here's the thing. If I'm doing my thing on stage and all you can look at is my legs, that's your loss.
Yeah.
Because I'm saying some pretty good shit that's going to transform your business. And if you can't get past that I'm an attractive woman trying to give you this information and you can't receive the information as a result, dude, I can't help you. Like, that's your issue. And I'm sorry for you, because you're missing out on some really, really good stuff that could totally change your life and change your business. I'm not here for you. I'm here for the people in the room that don't care if I'm female, male, or whatever. I'm just here to help their business. And am I the right person to do that?
Yeah.
Those are the people in the room that I'm there for anyway.
Yeah. And it's also like, if that really is the case, like, where's your attention span as a operator of a business? Like, how the hell are you going to scale a business if you can't?
Dude.
You know what I'm saying? I wanted to say something in response to like, or adding to people taking a leap. So whatever it is, 97% business failure rate, like, that's a real statistic. But I believe that entrepreneurship is a 100% successful endeavor all the time. And I'll explain what I mean. Part of it is what you said. No matter what, you are absolutely, without a doubt, going to become a better version of yourself. So that is 100% guaranteed. Like, there's no way you can go through these hard things and learn the things, even if you do it for a year. Like, I've hired sales guys that went and ran an agency for a year and then decided this wasn't for them. And they are better salespeople because now they have context, they have perspective, like, they're better as human beings and also in their role because of that. But there's also these weird things that happen. Like, I quit my job to go start gyms. And that was my thing. I love gyms, I love fitness, and I love business. I was like, great marriage, right? And I had it absolutely locked in my mind that I was going to build multiple gyms and make millions of dollars and help people get healthier and, you know, pop into all these gyms and get to see all the people working out. That was it. That was my vision. And it was crystal clear. It was like, no doubt this is going to happen. I don't care how long it takes. I don't care how hard it is. And the third one, around sometime around launching the third one, I, through a crazy story that most people know, and discovered digital marketing to bail my gyms out and to save myself. Right. And then I decided, I not only did I see an opportunity, a larger TAM, more scalability, but I actually liked it. I literally liked running a marketing business more than I liked running my gyms. So it was like that path that I got on that I thought was just going to go like this. It was like this, boom, 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 and then led me to over here. Right. And then like that led to something, and it all worked out. It like worked out for me, not in the way that I envisioned and not in the way that I would even hope that it worked out with all the painful things I went to, but like it worked out. So I'm a big believer like that. If you take the risk, you take the leap, it's going to be harder than you thought. You're going to cry. You're going to have challenges. You're going to go through all that stuff, but like, you're going to become better. Exactly what you said. And you're also going to have doors open that you never could even imagine that are going to open. And you're going to go like, oh, that wasn't part of it. Right. And you're going to end up somewhere where you're supposed to be, so,
Yeah.
so I love what you said. And I always I love encouraging people, it's funny. I love encouraging people to take the leap, but I recently had a conversation with my brother, and he has a great job, and like, I was like very protective over him doing this
Mhm.
and I was like, I don't think you should, like this and that, but it's because I know the pain that I went through, and like, I love him and I like don't want him to go through it.
Sure.
So yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
Again, it's what do you choose, right? I think there is also a huge amount of risk and a huge amount of difficulty represented by living a life on somebody else's terms, right? And it's not so simple as to say that, like, if you have a job, that's what you're doing. But I think it's, to me, it always comes back to what's the version of me that I want to become. Because if I want to become the version of me that is able to take those risks, that has that self-sufficiency, that when shit gets hard, I lean in, that when things get scary, I choose the road more scary. If that's the version of me that I want to become, just like you said, Gil, like, there is literally no better teacher than entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is the world's hardest personal development program you will ever send yourself through, right? And so if that's important to you, if growth is important to you, choose that, but recognize that that's what you're choosing, right? You're not necessarily choosing the 8-figure exit. Maybe you will get there, right? But like you said, the road is going to have many twists and turns. And maybe 2 years later, you close down your business and you go back and you get a job, but you will be a different version of yourself. And are you better for that? What I love about entrepreneurs, and I think this is true of life in general, is like, there is no right or wrong choice, because whatever you end up choosing, you will make it the right choice, right? Even if you choose to stay and have a job, you will make that the right choice. You will leverage everything that that gives you to grow, to provide for your family, to use that stability and turn it into something. It will become the right choice if you make it so. Starting your own business will become the right choice if you make it so. It's about how, like, do you know why you're choosing it? Are you choosing it for the right reasons? And so long as that's true, there's actually no wrong choice. You can't fuck it up.
Very true. So who is this, um like, you obviously care about progression, your
Mm.
self-development, those things are important just from hearing you talk, but like what's the, maybe this is a too deep of a question, but like, do you think about like, who do you want to be? What do you want people to say about you? Like, you're still young, you're still building, you're still learning, you're still developing, you also have experience, so you're at this like cool, unique place in your life where I think like, you're wise, you got some experience, you can school some people, but then you also have a lot of opportunity to grow and learn, and you got a long road ahead of you, and you could build cool stuff, meet cool people, do cool things. But like, what's the vision? Who
Yeah.
do you want to be 20 years from now?
So I mean, I think about this incessantly. Have you ever read The Alter Ego Effect?
I literally just downloaded it in
All
Audible, and
right.
that's crazy because like 2 weeks ago, somebody big just dropped this. Was it Dan Martell?
I have no idea.
Okay, somebody literally just put it out, and I was like, immediately download. I started. I'm like half a chapter into the first one
Okay,
on
great.
Audible, but I got it in there. I swear, I got it in my phone. Yeah.
Yes. So the long and short of it is, right,
Oh,
that
Tai Lopez, by the way. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I
yeah,
heard Tai Lopez say every entrepreneur needs to read that book.
yeah, I think so, right? Because again, we as entrepreneurs understand that we don't just choose our businesses, we choose ourselves. We choose our identity, we choose our beliefs, we choose our mindset, we choose these things, right? And so the alter ego effect is essentially just a framework for you to choose, who am I becoming? And I believe that I have the ability to determine that, right? And so I think about this and care about this so much, Gil. I've literally made this a core value in my business. The core value is commit to your own potential. And the way that I talk about it is there is a potential version of me that I want to become. And I know everything about this chick. I know what she wears. I know what like her perfume is. I know what shoes she has. I know how she shows up in a room. I know how she makes people feel. I know how she impacts and serves people. And I see my job today as nothing more and nothing less than I get to show up today and take one more baby step towards her. That's all to me. That's all personal development is. That's all it is. It is just the becoming of my highest potential self. And my business is just a vehicle that will shred me to pieces in service to becoming her. And so I'm willing to go through the pain. I'm willing to go through the hard. I'm willing to go through all of the ups and downs of it, not even for me, not even like if we're being selfish about it, not even for my clients, not for my team, for her. I do it for her because I know that she is me at my highest level of impact and service, highest level of potential. And what I can't sacrifice is the commitment to her. I can't live my life fulfilled is one where I have done everything in my power to become her a little bit every day. And so everything else is secondary and everything else is actually just in service to that. And when I see my business that way, and this is the real kicker, this is why it's a core value, when my team sees my business that way, then what we unlock is radical growth, right? Because now my team's not showing up to my company for me, not for my revenue, not for my goals, not for what I want them to do. They're doing it for themselves. Because just as a business is a vehicle for me, my business is a vehicle for them.
Yeah, that I was one of the things I was most proud of in the business that I built. It wasn't all the sales we made and the clients and the enterprise and the money and the quick growth and the exit, like those things, of course. But one thing that I will brag about to this day is that there are people that worked in that company
Yeah.
that are still there, some left, that message me and were like, because I was there and I was around you,
Yeah.
I wanted to level up myself. I wanted to level up my health. I wanted to become a better version of myself. And I was like, that's enough of a win for me, because like those things are so important to me. The fact that I was able to translate and inject that into the business and into the people, it's like that felt really fulfilling to me. It's probably a little bit less of a healthy relationship with what you just said,
Mhm.
but I posted this the other day